Hello guys, it's Jonathan. We're doing another Beyblade discussion, this time for all of this stuff that was just announced for May. There was a lot of stuff that got announced on the Takatomi side this time, which is of course what I'm covering, but yeah, there's a lot of news. I guess we'll just go ahead and get started with kind of the most simple of them, and that is the June booster, next month's main release, and that is WeissTiger 360 Unite. This bay is interesting. I'm kind of mixed on it, honestly. On one hand, I like it a lot. On the other hand, I don't like it at all. First up, 360. Why? Like, the blade has like this 9-bladed thing going on. Why was this not 960? Like, if you're going to reuse a ratchet, you reuse 960 here. 360 was not the move at all. Also, the Unite bit, it's basically just a mix of point and taper. It's not that interesting. I really don't care for this bit. It's not the worst thing ever, but like, not that interesting. And then we have the Blade WeissTiger. Yeah, this thing is it's a balance blade, if you couldn't tell, which I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't tell. It looks like an attack blade to me, but there's apparently 9 blades here. Apparently, like, the 3 main ones are for attack, and there's like the smaller ones, which are like 3 for defense or 3 for stamina. You have different blades for each type, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, if I'm being honest. But they came up with something to make this a balance blade, I guess, and that's their excuse for it. So yeah, I don't really care for the bay here. However, yeah, part-wise, I don't care. Like, design-wise, like, in terms of, like, battling or whatever, it's whatever. But in terms of appearance, this thing looks really, really nice. The color scheme, just the overall, like, physical design, I think it looks really cool. Again, part choices concept-wise, it's not the best, but I mean, there's bays, like, from Burst, like Death Solomon, for example, which part-wise is abysmal, but it's still one of my favorite sparking bays, purely just on the design alone, and I think this is going to be a similar situation. WeissTiger looks phenomenal, but part-wise, yeah, it's boring. Also, I don't usually talk about the anime stuff much at all, or manga or whatever, but I do want to mention Shigeru, Maltese sister. So Shigeru, why is she important here? Well, I'm fairly confident that this is her bay. So come into play towards the end of the video to why this is important, but for now let me just set this up here. I don't think it's confirmed, but let me just say I'm like 99.9% sure this is Shigeru's bay. There's a whole thing about, oh, the prongs aren't, the same as CobaltDrake's, which is, her teammate from Pendragon. So it can't be, but I don't think we should buy into the prongs. I mean, look at Shark Edge and Wyvern Gale. Like, they had the same prongs as other bays, but they weren't on the same team. I don't think the prongs are reliable. There's 2 main things I want to say, and then 2 kind of supporting facts to this. So first up, the theme, Weiss. This means white in German. Usually bays have kind of a weapon theme, or even just like kind of an ability, like, like gale, like being wind, or like shadow. I could see this being like abilities. It makes sense to why they're the theme for a bay instead of like a weapon or something. But a color, that's unusual. It's only happened one other time with CobaltDrake. Cobalt, yeah, as a color. Like, they both are using color themes, which isn't very convincing on its own, but the naming scheme is the important part here. Every Takatomi Bay, except for 2 now, they go motif and then theme, drawn sword, drawn being the motif, sword is kind of its theming. You see also like drawn dagger, drawn buster, hell scythe, stuff like that. The exception to this is CobaltDrake. Obviously, Drake is the motif, but it comes second. The theme comes first, Cobalt. WeissTiger. WeissTiger, it's the same thing as CobaltDrake. Like, I'm gonna believe the naming and theming scheme above the unreliable prong thing going on that people are trying to say. It's not that. Also, a couple of supporting theories to this. Well, not really theories, just supporting, I guess, evidence. But first up, this is just kind of a June release. Like, it's a booster. it's reusing parts. It's clearly not designed to be like this massive release or anything. Why would they just start to change this up now? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And also, let's be honest, I think a lot of people expect a kind of new CobaltDrake type of bay in July, and this would kind of support that. Again, I'll talk about that later on. So, sorry about going on with that for so long. It was just something I wanted to mention because I do think it's a little bit obvious, and some people said otherwise, and I just wanted to kind of clear that up. And also, it supports a theory that, again, not really theory, but just evidence for something that will be coming later. Moving on from WeissTiger, it's fine, but next thing here is the Beyblade X Xone game. Yeah, this is a Switch game, also apparently available on Steam. I believe the name here is Zone. It uses an X instead of a Z, which is, sure, but yeah. New game, I could not care less. However, the thing I do care about is the bay that comes with it. ShinobiKnife 460 flat. Now that's interesting. So it has a new bay, but also not new. So for those who don't know, ShinobiKnife, this is actually a Hasbro exclusive blade. So I think I mentioned this a long time ago at some point, or a few months ago, where I said maybe Takatomi will reverse engineer the Hasbro exclusives back into, Japan. My initial theory was maybe kind of like side random booster prizes, like secondary or tertiary prizes, but I guess, a game works as well. So yeah, it's a Hasbro blade in Takatomi form. Pretty interesting. The combo is different. Also, the blade looks different. It's painted. It looks really cool. Almost has a CobaltDrake type of colors, but yeah. Yeah, the ratchet and bit are 460 flat. They are CobaltDrake parts. Well, the same parts as CobaltDrake, not like literally like the same, but you know what I mean. Anyway, CobaltDrake's combo, that's what I meant to say. Which is interesting because the Hasbro ShinobiKnife has 480 high needle, which is very, very different. So, yeah, I do kind of agree with the 480 high needle for ShinobiKnife because obviously Shinobi Shadow has, 180 metal needle, so it kind of makes more sense. But hey, at least the blade is available in Japan. That's the important part. And I will have to pick this one up because the blade looks great. Very, very interesting. Again, let me know if you think that we'll maybe see some more Hasbro blades come into Takatomi. Could that happen? Maybe. So, here's our first example of it. Is it a one-off case, or will it be more common? Who knows? Moving on. Next up, we have a DranSword recolor. This is the kind of a CobaltDrake recolor. Apparently, this is going to be a Korokoro gift, I believe, next month. It's the same thing as like Phoenix Feather, where basically you just buy the Korokoro and you get it. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's not hard to get, so it's nice. And it is a very, very cool looking blade as well, so definitely excited for this one to pick it up. Probably the next time I order from Japan, which I don't know when that'll be, but no later than like September. Because I know US sellers are probably going to sell this thing for like $20, and Japan it'll be like $5 if that, so I'll have to grab it from there. But yeah, that's really all for that. Next thing here, which is HellsChain 560 High Taper. This is a recolor, a black and green recolor. It's a rare bay get battle bay, so there is some confusion to how this is going to be obtained, but yeah. Basically, it's like the same thing as like the gold HellsChain and gold Leon Claw, where it's like apparently easier to get than CobaltDrake, so hoping the price is fairly similar to those. If it is, then I will probably get this again no later than September, just whenever my next Japan order is, basically. Also might just wait a little bit, to make sure the market's not like crazy for this thing right away. Hopefully it's more like the Gold Land Club where it's like $30 from Japan. That'd be great. Because I do want to get this for my Rare Get Battle collection, since I do have everything from that as of right now. That said, the bay itself looks really, really cool. I like the black and green going on. It's just a cool color scheme. The black metal looks great here, so I definitely want to have this one for sure. Also, one other important note here is apparently it is replacing the Gold Hell Scythe, which I did not expect. But yeah, they're apparently not going to have the Gold Hell Scythe to my knowledge anymore. So I guess that's just gone, and this is replacing it. So I'm kind of glad I got the Hell Scythe now, if that's gone, because I'm assuming that'll make it jump up in price quite a bit. So kind of got lucky there. So yeah, that's kind of all for that. And now we get to the last thing. Unfortunately, I can't show this. But I can talk about it. So that is apparently there is a new July Bay, and there's a few interesting things about this. So first up, looks like an attack type. Also seems to have blue plastic and like underneath, and then a red gear chip. So blue and red color scheme, although no painted metal, unfortunately, but is what it is. Seems to be four-sided and left spin as well. It looks like we are getting in July our first left spin bay. I'll cover this more next month, but for now I do want to still talk about that because I mean it's kind of crazy to get a left spin bay. And this is why I talked a lot about WeissTiger, and why I thought it was Shigeru's bay, because if we're getting that bay now, then I'd assume we're getting more Pendragon stuff after, and you would expect a new Drake. And so yeah, basically this July start, I think a lot of people thought, if we got another Drake, after CobaltDrake, it was going to be left spin, which was kind of obvious. I mean, it's four-sided. I feel like it was definitely Dragoon inspired, so going from right spin to left spin makes sense for sure. So yeah, July release, it does look like it will be a new Drake. And of course, when I talk about, Drake, I'm referring to, the Beyblade. Beyblade, ages 8 and up, not 8 and under. Anyway, so yeah, it looks very, very cool. Just from like this, I unfortunately can't show it, which sucks, but like, it's not really a great picture anyway, but still, it's like very, very vague, but it looks pretty cool. Four-sided, left spin. What else can I say? Like a left spin bay, we've all been waiting for it for months now. We've all been wondering when that was going to happen, and looks like this is the time for it. Honestly, I thought maybe the first left spin would almost be like a UX bay, but I guess not, so that's fine though. Maybe we'll get a UX Drake at some point. That'd be really, really nice as well, assuming that probably will happen again. Pendragon seems fairly important, but still. I think that's everything for that. Again, next month I will go all in on that. We don't know the parts and stuff anyway. Again, there's not even like a clear picture of the blade, so next month will be the time to go all in on this thing and talk about that when the news is revealed. That will be a lot of fun to do. But for now, it's just like a teaser we got for it, and I wanted to just mention it a little bit. So yeah, I think that's everything for this month. Quite a bit. I kind of did go through a lot of the stuff very quickly. I mean, a lot of these things, I mean, like, the ShinobiKnife thing, I mean, we've already seen the blade, it has reused parts, I mean, HellsChain's all reused parts, the DranSword blade, it's a blade that exists, and, just the blade, and WeissTiger, I mean, like, it's new, but, like, not, like, that interesting, I feel, except for the design, and that looks very cool, so, yeah. For now, though, I do plan on getting everything here, which is pretty interesting. I feel like I do tend to skip out on some of the limited edition stuff on occasion, but no, everything here I kind of want to get, so that should be fun. But yeah, that's all for this video, though. Let me know what you think about anything here, honestly, like them like replacing rare big battle stuff, which is honestly unexpected and probably not great. Or, what about our first left spin bay? Again, that'll be more next month, but if you want to talk about it now, go for it. What else? I guess, oh yeah, will they, I guess the big question here is, will Takara Tomy reverse engineer more Hasbro stuff? That I'm very, very interested in knowing more about as time goes on. So let me know if you think that'll happen or not, if you feel like it, and, or just thoughts on WeissTiger, since that is, like, the most important, or I guess, like, prevalent thing here, even though I'd spent like less than a third of the video, I think, talking about it, but it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, that's definitely everything now. So yeah, let me know if you want to. Let me know your thoughts on any of the stuff that was revealed. We got quite a bit this month from the Takara Tomy side of things, so yeah, a lot to discuss. But yeah, I think that's all for this video now, so thanks for watching, and bye.